Welcome to Northeast Kayak Fishing TV. Tonight's episode of Top Dawgs. We have Mr. Chris Smigz from New Hampshire Kayak Fishing. He's the Angler of the Year in 2019. He's also the director of the club, so we'll get into some questions on that. So you guys hit that like button, share it. Before we get into sharing it, though, let me tell you that some of the groups have started to report it as spam. I don't know why they don't want to help guys out here and promote them, but don't share it to groups. Just share it to your own profile. For whatever reason, people are butthurt. I don't know why. I just won't support those people. If they don't want to support us, I'm not going to support them. To me, it's not spam, it's support. But we'll get into that. So share it to your profiles. Most of you guys who fish got 1.5 million friends on your Facebooks. So hit that up. Make sure you're going to YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. All the episodes go to YouTube afterwards. And also once the season starts, we're going to have all the on the water kind of stuff. We'd be doing some on the water podcasts. Got a lot coming. So stay tuned for that. But no more of that stuff. Let's bring in the man himself, Mr. Chris Smigz. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So let's start it off with tell people where you're from and where you're at now.
Yeah, originally from like the Pembroke Concord area. Now I'm in Londonderry. Just kind of doing my thing out here now. It's pretty quiet. It's nice.
Yeah. New Hampshire's a great area. I love going there. I camp there at least once a year. I go to the Yogi Bear campground there. I think it's like Ashland or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure I know that one, but
Yeah, it's
good fishing.
Yeah.
You get the weather here, so.
Yeah, it's right on the Pemigewasset River, that campground.
Okay, yep.
So I've done some smallie fishing in there.
Yeah, there's good smallies everywhere in New Hampshire, I feel.
Yeah, everywhere that I've fished in New Hampshire, there's good smallies.
They might not be the biggest, but you can always find them.
Yeah, they're bigger than what I got here in Rhode Island, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah? Nothing like those Maine smallies, I guess.
Yeah. I'm originally from Maine, so nothing
really?
beats Maine smallies. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never fished anything in Maine. I'll probably make it out there this year, fish some stuff with the Maine guys. But
yeah, good group of guys up there. Jason's awesome.
Yeah, he's been helpful with me for sure. I mean, when I started the club last year, I definitely reached out to him before I did.
Right. So when did you start fishing?
About 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh wow! So you didn't even start as a kid like most of us.
No, I mean I remember going maybe a couple times with my dad. You know, throwing a worm on a bobber type deal. And it's funny, when I moved to Londonderry, there was a little, maybe half-acre pond, and a buddy from work came by. He's like, "You got a pond right near your house?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we went fishing one night, and ever since then, I've been fishing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. First year, just shore fishing, and then basically shore fishing with a Senko for the whole first year.
Yeah, just the basic stuff. That's the first thing I give everybody. Anybody I take first and fishing the first time, I just hand them a wacky rig Senko and just throw that thing out there. Something's gonna bite it.
If you can get the feel down of a Senko, you can get the feel for anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like a weightless one.
Yeah, takes an hour for it to hit the bottom.
You got it.
I despise fishing that method.
It's slow going. I'd rather power fish usually.
Yeah, me too. What about tournament fishing? When did you get into the tournament scene?
Maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I did some stuff with another club for a while, and then said, "Hey, there's nothing really geared for New Hampshire, and just decided to wing it, and luckily it kind of turned out pretty well."
So when you started tournament fishing, you started the club all at the same time?
Yep.
Oh, wow. So you had no experience.
Well, I mean, maybe a year's worth, but like no tournament wise. I had done one big boat tournament with a buddy of mine, and I got blanked, and he killed it, and that was the way that day went. So I didn't really get into it then. And then I started doing like the whole kayak and all that stuff, and that's where I kind of found my little niche.
Yep. So, what kayak did you start with?
Originally, I started with a little Bass Pro like pond prowler thing, a little 8 foot John boat.
Yeah.
Went to one of those. Then I had a 12 foot John boat. Then I actually my very first kayak was like a Sun Dolphin from Walmart,
Yep. My
and
my first one.
sit in.
Yep. My first one was a Future Beach, which is very similar.
Yep. I actually had a roundabout for a little while. Those things are pretty interesting.
Oh, one of those circle things you can put like the trolling
Yeah,
motor on and stuff.
yeah. It was a super stable and comfortable to fish off. It was just really slow, and it was really a pain in the butt to drag around.
Yeah, I would imagine that thing doesn't cut through the water very well.
No, it's a giant circle with a little point on the front. But it was fun. It was fun. I did it for a year. I actually was getting rid of my truck at the time, so I knew I needed to get rid of that because there was no way I was throwing that on top of a car. And my last tournament of that year, I was at this little lake, and the guy came over, saw it, and asked me about it. And I actually sold it to the guy right there, right after the last tournament of the year.
Oh wow.
It was pretty worked out well for me. It's still there too. I go there every once in a while, and I'll still see it sitting in the woods. It's funny.
What are you
But then
running? What are you running now for a kayak?
I had a Hobie for a little bit, and now I'm in the Old Town Topwater.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
I'm in a
I got
Predator PDL myself.
yes, yeah, I got the 106 PDL. Got it maybe June last year. Like started the year off with something else, and just finally bit the bullet. Did it. I'm happy I did it. It's a great kayak.
Yeah, it is. What made you make the switch from the Hobie to the PDL?
I had an older Hobie, uh, so it wasn't really meant to stand in.
Oh,
It was
okay,
like it was like a 2012 Outback or something.
okay.
I mean, you could stand in it, but I'm a tall guy. I'm like 6'3". I'm not super stable, anyways. So it was tough to stand in. So I got sick of seeing everybody else go by me standing up fishing.
Yeah, I like to stand myself, and one of the biggest reasons I went with the Predator PDL was because of the stability. I hear that the top water is more stable than the Predator.
Wow. I'm not sure. I've never fished out of a couple of buddies have them. I know they like them. I mean, Old Town's local. Customer service is always on point. So,
Right,
and I got a pretty decent deal on it and I just went and picked it up right away. So
right. They have lifetime warranty.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it's great,
I think
great kayak.
I think 5 year warranty on the drive itself too. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I had zero issues with it last year, so I'm looking forward to this year for sure.
now, do you run electronics on your kayak, or are you going
I
blind?
got a low end fish finder. Other than that, I don't really have much for electronics.
Yeah. So you're looking for just depth and water temperature, really.
You got it. I mean, I feel like it's lying to me every time it tells me there's a fish down there.
usually, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, so as long as I know I'm in 20 feet of water and it's you can kind of tell what the bottom is, then I don't go crazy with different stuff. I
right.
got my normal stuff I'll throw, and it's either working or it's not.
Exactly. Now, do you have a certain rod and reel brand that you like to use, or you mix it up? And
I mix it up a lot. I have a lot of Abu reels, and then I kind of started switching over to some of the Lose stuff actually last year, and
yeah, yeah, loses the
I've
best.
actually been a fan. I've been a fan of them so far. I think I have like two rods and two reels of theirs, but nothing crazy. I don't have any of the most expensive stuff. Like I got decent stuff, good stuff.
Right.
It's not top of the line. I think my wife would probably kill me if I bought the top of the line stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I just lie.
yeah, you know. But yeah, I got 6 rods usually is what I bring, and 4 bait casting, 2 spinning, and go nuts.
Yeah, that's
I used to make fun of my buddy who got me into fishing when I go to his house and he had 10 rods in the corner. I'm like, what do you need 10 rods for, man?
yep.
But
That's
you quickly realize
Yeah,
That's not out of the norm by any means. That's the norm.
right. You need the techniques, certain actions. Uh, I say to guys, I mean, you don't go to the golf course with one golf club. You bring
Yeah,
a whole set, and
it's a good analogy.
yeah,
It's
there's
very true, man.
yeah, you need a rod for certain things. I mean, obviously kayaks we can't take what these bass boat guys are taking. I mean, they're taking 30, 40 rods out with them.
It's insane.
Yeah. So we kind of have to have multi-purpose rods with similar actions that can do certain
You got
things. You got to really know your own skills and what you're going to throw on tournament day.
yeah. I find one of the biggest things for especially for kayak fishing, tournament fishing, is know where you're going and know what to like. You may have 10 rods, you can only bring 5 or 6. You better bring the right ones.
Exactly.
Even if you do a little homework, get up, try and get out and pre-fish. If you can't pre-fish, the internet's a great source, and I guarantee you, somebody you know's been there before. They can give you an idea.
Right. With YouTube and stuff now, I mean, everybody's making videos. There's always videos of people fishing certain ponds, and especially the larger name places. I mean, like if you go down south, Gunnersville, and all that stuff. I mean, there's millions of videos of places
Oh,
like that.
for sure there is. Yeah, everybody's got a camera nowadays.
Yeah,
A lot of it you can find good information from it.
yeah, definitely. When I watch them, I'm usually looking for the background. I don't even care what they're catching. I'm looking for the spot. What spot are they on?
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. There's been a few times where I've seen a video and be like, I know where you are.
Yep. Yep.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't go there at some point.
Now, favorite style to fish? What's your favorite way to fish?
Uh, Carolina rigging.
Get out of here! Really?
Yeah, man. Yep.
Oh my word! I can't throw a Carolina rig.
I found, and it's holds true most of the time. People either drop shot or the Carolina rig, and they don't do either or.
Wow. I can't
You know,
drop shot either.
I can't drop shot for nothing. So, granted, I've never really tried, other than a few, and I never have much luck. So I just always go back to what I know.
Really, you don't hear many people up here up north that Carolina rig.
Nope.
It's usually a southern grass kind of
Yep.
thing.
Give me a nice rock pile out somewhere. I'll run a Carolina rig right around there.
Nice, man, nice. Now, how does that work from a kayak? I mean, Carolina rig,
It
most guys are usually just dragging it as the boat's moving. So, I mean,
Yeah, a lot of arms, man. Your arms get tired.
yeah. So you're
It's all
casting it way out and then just dragging it and
across the bow, basically.
wow.
Drag, drag, and drag. But that, or I mean, everybody loves top water. Who doesn't love a good top water
Right.
bite? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm a big fan of top water. Um, try to
throw a
stay
lot of
away
top
from
water.
the frogs in the tournament because the hookup ratio can kind of suck and that'll make for a very bad day.
Nothing worse than losing a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I throw a lot of top water rats. Crankbaits, jigs, chatterbaits. The usual stuff. But yeah, out in the summer, you'll find me out in the middle somewhere throwing a Carolina rig.
Awesome. That's awesome. I like to hear guys that fish some different stuff. You're the first one on here to say
Really?
Carolina rig. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you ask anybody from the club, they'll they'll guarantee you they'd say, yeah, oh yeah, he'll be out there throwing a Carolina rig all day.
Awesome. Now, what would you say is your most disliked style of fishing?
Ooh, that's a good one. Jerk baits.
Jerk baits. I think I have to agree with you there. I'm not.
I cannot get the right. I mean, it's such a pain to try and get the right action from, especially sitting from a
Yeah.
kayak. It's almost impossible to get it right.
It's a pain in the ass. I actually just picked up a new rod this weekend to hopefully help me with my action on the jerk bait.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
the rod that I've been using just hasn't been working, and now I'll know if it was the rod or if it was me. Um, I'm kind of a tall guy myself too. I'm 6'2", so I was using a shorter rod, so I don't know. Maybe that was the issue. Now I moved up a little bit. The tip seems good on the rod, but I don't know. It could just be me. I might not be meant to jerk bait.
I can't do it. It's not sitting from a. It's funny. I'll get in like a bass boat and be standing in the bass boat. I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like to throw a jerk bait. But other than that, I don't even bother. I won't. I have some, and I don't think that. I don't think I threw a jerk bait once last year.
Yeah, I threw it a few times, early season.
Yep.
Um, Hoping to get out in the next week or so. Actually, Sunday's supposed to be 50 here, so I'm
Really?
hoping to get out there on Sunday.
You have ice, or did you guys get ice, or you stay open
I
water?
had ice for like a day. I got out
Oh
there
well.
and ice fished one day on like 6 inches of ice, but it was only in a shallow pocket. On the main lake, it was still open water, and the ice has melted. We've got some crust here and there once in a while, but lately there's been nothing on the water at all.
Yeah. See, I don't ice fish, and we've had ice for a while, so I'm itching for open water.
Yeah, I like to ice fish, but this year was not the year for ice fishing. Uh,
Really? Well, yeah. I guess if you're from Maine, that makes sense.
yeah, I always loved ice fishing. It was, to me, it's a great time. You get to hang out.
Yeah, people I know catch nice fish through the ice. I just something. I work outside. I freeze my ass off all the time, anyways. I don't need to go freeze my ass off.
That's why you bring the booze with you when you're ice fishing.
Yeah, I don't do much ice drinking, so that's basically what it is. So
Exactly. Yeah. Uh,
it's all good. But yeah, I'm counting the days down. It's starting to get some warmer weather here, and hopefully in a few weeks we'll get some stuff opened up. I mean, there's a few spots you can go now. Some spots in the river, but
yeah.
it's cold, man. It's cold.
It's definitely cold. You got to be prepared if you're going out there this time of year.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I want to say it was late April one year, and I knocked my rod in the water, and without even thinking, I went in after it, and
Oh man,
fully clothed, like a winter jacket. Man, that was brutal.
I
I'll
bet.
never do that again.
Yeah, that's it. Would probably.
And I was back controlling the trolling motor, so the boat kept going. And by the time my buddy got the, yeah, that was not a good day.
Yeah, it's probably like 36-degree water.
Yeah, I think the water was like 41.
Yeah, that's not much better.
Nope, nope. I learned my lesson that day. Believe me.
How about major tournament trails? Have you fished any of the KBF stuff or?
I fished a couple KBF stuff. I don't. It's hard for me to travel a lot. I got a young daughter, wife, kid. I mean, and like a job,
Yep.
So I fished the KBF Winnie event last year, and that was a blast. Even though the conditions were by far the worst conditions I've fished.
Yeah, it was not fun. I was there myself. It
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
fun.
so
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
fun.
I had a few. I actually found them. I caught I think I put 3 on the board. I knew I could get more. The water was so brutal that I had to leave the spot. I had a couple bass boats around me during the tournament, and they were leaving. Like, you're staying out here, you're insane. I'm like, this is the only place I've caught a fish all day. I'm not leaving. But once I looked out and nobody was in sight, I'm like, yeah, probably time to get off the water
Yeah,
here, or at least get out of that spot.
yeah. Now, was the wind pretty bad where you were? Is that what was making it bad?
Yeah, I was out. Well, believe it or not, I was out Carolina rigging the whole time, and about 20 feet, around some buoys and some grass patches, and I found some smallies, but I had never fished Winnie before ever.
Oh, really? You lived there and never fished it?
Nah, with a kayak, generally I'll stay away from the bigger places just because
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm not one to fight boats just to get to a spot. I'm always going to lose. So,
Right.
uh, but yeah, I usually, medium-sized lakes, or that's kind of where my bread and butter is usually.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of boat traffic over near us. I'm sure other people had it worse. Uh, but it's never fun when the boats don't stop and the jet skis don't stop.
No, and then we had, that day I know we had wind and rain, and
Yeah, that storm rolled in, and
you got it.
just before that storm rolled in, I had just went out onto the main lake because I had already burnt up all my spots. I couldn't get nothing,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go for the main lake. Went out there, and right as I get out there, that storm rolled in. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that was brutal, man. It
Yeah,
was brutal.
I had to tuck
I have
into an
a couple
island.
videos.
I tucked into an island. It was actually, it's like two islands with like a creek going through the center of them. So I just kind of squeezed in between that creek and hung out there for a little while till it rolled over.
Yeah, that's basically all you could do. Although I will say, my old town, the Topwater, man, I never felt like I was going to go over. You know, I never did. I mean, I was riding waves like a bronco, but
Yeah,
it was a good time.
yeah, I
That's probably the only real big like KBF event I've done. I've always tried to do other stuff, and it just never works out. But this year, I'm for sure like I'm getting out there. You know, I'm going to do a lot of that partner trail.
yeah,
I'll do those events, and then you know, you never know. We'll see what happens, how far you can travel.
exactly. Um, Now your AOY run, how did it come together? Like, did you win the most tournaments, or were you just the most consistent guy?
That's it, man. It was just consistent. I think I only placed in the money twice all year.
Oh wow.
Out of so we did 7 tournaments. You know, you keep your 6 best results, and I finished in the money twice. And other than that, you know, as long as I was never like out of the top 10, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always lurking like 5, 6, somewhere in there, just enough to be respectable. And it kind of just worked out. I thought for sure I was going to lose it because the second to last tournament, I only put 2 fish on the board. We had 3 fish limit, and I only put 2 on the board. And I thought for sure I was going to lose it there. And somehow, I guess a lot of the other top guys only put 2 on the board that day too. So
Awesome. Awesome.
I snuck it out, beat out a couple good guys. So it was an honor.
Yeah. Now, does Joe Daddio, does he fish in your club?
He does.
He does?
Yep. Yeah. He fished with me last year. Yeah. First time I met Joe. He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he is. He's a very cool dude.
I know he fished a lot of stuff the prior year. A lot of the KBF. I think he was KBF Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Yeah, I was there most of the tournaments he was at, watching him kick my ass. He's a hell of an angler.
Yeah.
So that's something to be proud about right there, man. I mean, you went up against the KBF Rookie of the Year, and you took.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I mean, we got a lot of good anglers, but it's just like anything, you know. On any given day,
you got Judy and her husband fish with you too, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. They're both great anglers.
Yeah, and actually, her son fished with us last year too, and he was one of the guys I used to learn from, kind of back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That one big boat tournament I fished was his.
Oh wow.
Yeah, off of his boat. So yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of good guys. We had whatever. NHKF was. We had a great year, man. We averaged like 21 people a tournament last year, and I think this year it's only going to get better. I'm bringing pretty much all those guys are back, plus a few, and you know we haven't really even started signing anybody new up. And we're at like 25 guys, I think. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it worked out well.
How does your Angler of the Year race work? Do you go by like total inches, or do you have?
Yep. So last year we did it. Your score for the tournament. That was your. So you had 60 inches. That was your points, and then you just added them up or whatever. Again, dropping your worst one.
Okay.
So I mean, because stuff comes up, people can't make one.
Exactly.
You know, so you figure you give one gimme. You know, either you blew it and you just really, had a bad day, or something came up, you couldn't make a tournament. It sucks when you fished all the other 6 and that one kills you. So
yeah, we do 10 and we count 7. So I allow for 3. You can have 3 bad scores or 3 tournaments that you couldn't show up.
Yep. Yeah, it makes sense. It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it is.
It's tough to be there every single time, no matter what.
It is, especially with all the clubs. I mean, there's so many clubs now, and you want to share the wealth a little bit. So we got guys that fish with us, that fish with Ken Wood's club. We have 2 other Rhode Island clubs. So I mean, there's tons and tons of clubs and guys.
And then throw the KBF stuff,
Right. Yeah.
people are traveling for that or pre-fishing or
I was just adding up my season the other day, and I'm already at 32 tournaments.
really
Yeah, I'm
for last year.
no for this year that I'm scheduling like for me to
Oh,
fish.
geez.
32.
32.
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's so
That's
bad.
a lot, man.
That is a lot. It's
You
every
don't get me wrong. I'll go fishing 32 times, but 32 tournaments.
Yeah, it's bad. I fish a tournament almost every weekend, and some weekends it's Saturdays and Sundays. Um,
Yeah, I couldn't do it. No way.
by the end of the year, you're thinking, "What the hell am I doing?"
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
But
Unless you're doing well, then you're like, man, I had a good year.
yeah, last year I had a horrible, horrible year, um, and I fished like 24 tournaments or 25 tournaments last year, and I had a horrible year. Most of the year, the end of the season was pretty good, but most of the season was horrible for me. Hopefully this year it'll be better.
Hey, man, only one way to look up, right?
Yeah, that's the way I want to get better at it. So, I mean, there's only one way to get better, and that's being out there on the water and competing.
I'm sure it's different in big boats too, but people. I can't tell you how many friends I have that I fished with. That are good anglers. We go out, we catch fish, and then come tournament, it's different, man. Tournament fishing is
It
different.
is.
It's hard to explain to somebody that hasn't been in it, but when you're under a gun and you're forced to fish somewhere that you may not want to fish, or in the conditions you may not want to fish in, it's fine to go out to your local honey hole and crush it, but
It
it's
is.
uh,
It.
it's tough.
I used to think that I was the best out there, and then I got into tournament fishing and was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know shit.
Yep, that's it, man. I think until last year, I think every year the 3 or 4 years I did before that, I always blanked at least one tournament a year. It just happens.
Yeah, it does. It still happens to me.
Yep,
I think I skunked once this year. Twice maybe twice. It's
that's
tough.
not terrible. That's not terrible though.
No, it's not. But it.
24 tournaments, so you did all right.
Um, now, what made you start the club?
Uh, kind of just it was felt like the right time, and I was just you know I was being a part of a couple other things, and nothing was geared for New Hampshire. Like I wanted something that was just in New Hampshire. All the stuff was in New Hampshire. It just made sense, and luckily I had a good group of guys around that were like, yeah, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, and so we did. We did it well.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I like to think we had a good year.
Yeah, I mean, I follow guys on Facebook, and it seemed like you guys always had a good crowd there. Um, and there's no
Yeah.
other. I know there's Granite State, but I know they limit their members to a certain amount.
Right.
And then that's it. There's no other ones besides you.
Not that I know of that are like kayak and
Right.
involved, kayak only kind of deals. I mean, there's plenty of big boat tournaments, but
Yeah. All over the world, there's plenty of big boat tournaments.
so
Kayak's
many.
starting to take over, though.
I, well, it's affordable.
It is.
Who wants to spend 20 grand on a bass boat? And that's on the low end.
Yeah, that's a very low end. I was looking at some
That's
at the.
like buying a used one, buying a half decent one somewhere. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, I was looking at some at the fishing expo, and they were like 80 grand. Like, who spends 80 grand on a boat
Yeah,
to go
it's
out and
insane.
fish?
Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing it for a living, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, and now you're going out on Sunday to lose even more money because you're not going to win every week.
No.
It's
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
I can't.
Your buy-ins are a lot more. All that
Yeah.
stuff, gas,
Yep.
insurance, you name it.
Yeah, you probably need like $1 million worth of insurance.
Oh, yeah. I don't even want to imagine.
Yeah, and then you need a $60,000 truck to pull it.
Yeah, right. Then you're putting miles on it, driving it everywhere.
Right.
Forget that.
Yeah, it's just
I'm
not
good.
worth it.
I'll throw my kayak in the back of the truck and just throw it right in the truck bed and go.
Exactly.
That's one of the things that enticed me to kayaking to begin with, is you can get to those places that the big boats can't get, and a lot of times that's where you're going to find those bigger fish.
Exactly. That's what got me into it about 4 years ago. I was actually watching Chad Hoover's TV show on the fishing network there, and I was like,
Oh
damn.
yeah.
I was like, damn, if this fat bastard can stand up in a kayak,
Yeah.
I can too. Um, I mean,
It's funny. I used to
I'm a,
watch that show too.
yeah, I'm a big guy myself, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Of course, I went and bought a Dick's Future Beach kayak, and I wasn't standing up for very long in that. Uh, but yeah, I
No,
got
I
it.
mean,
I got it so I could get those backwater spots, man, and it paid off. That first year I had it, I caught a lot of big fish.
yeah. There's finding that spot where nobody else is. If you're there and you're fishing all day and you don't see anybody else,
Yeah,
you found a good one.
exactly.
I'm not. I'll walk 20 minutes, half an hour into the woods to a couple spots,
Yeah,
but those are the best spots.
I got a couple of spots like down some trails. Um,
Yeah, I need to rig it up like a mountain bike or something.
that'd be pretty cool.
I've seen people do it. You can do it. It sure beats walking.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
definitely.
just to save the time alone.
Now, do you guys fish all over New Hampshire, or are you
Yeah,
consolidated to one area?
no, I would say in general within an hour, hour and a half of say Concord, kind of like our Manchester.
Okay.
We'll keep it around that area. We're not going up way up north or anything, or even west. You go an hour and a half east, you're on the seacoast. So yeah, I would say about an hour, hour and a half of Manchester, like kind of central southern.
All right. And you said like 7 tournaments a year?
7 tournaments a year, yeah. And you know, we're partnering with KBF this year, so I'm kind of trying to also encourage guys to go fish the KBF stuff. A lot of people do anyways, but
Right.
I know a lot of members. We had a lot of people sign up for KBF last year, but I don't think a ton of people fished events.
Okay.
A lot of guys do the online monthlies and stuff, which is appealing.
It is. It is.
Don't get me wrong; that is a great idea. Like, just you go fish when you can fish wherever you want to fish, as long as it's a public body of water, and call it a day.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you beat that? A lot of guys, I think, participate in that stuff.
Yeah. Did you participate in that also?
I did a few online monthlies. Not last year actually, but the year before I did a couple.
Yeah.
Now, actually, the first month, I think it was May, was the first one I signed up for, and I was killing it with smallies and bed fishing, whatever. And the previous club I was with, you could have like the mouth open, like half an inch.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it had to be closed with KBF, so all my fish got an inch deduction.
Oh.
And I ended up losing that first month by like a quarter of an inch, and I was kicking myself later, believe me.
Yeah, you probably lost to Joe too, right?
Yeah, you know what? I might have. He was killing it that year.
Yeah, he kills it all the time.
Every time I looked, it was another 20-inch fish.
Yep. You got to find out where he's going.
Yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna GPS his truck next time. Follow him around.
And
yeah, a lot of good guys.
Yeah. Is there a membership for your club, or is it?
Yeah, usually, we haven't really decided on one this year. Last year we had, I think it was $50, and that was kind of just a lot of it to get stuff going. Like, had to get a lot of new stuff for the new club, but we're doing a jersey order right now. We're just getting that up. I just kind of finished up doing the whole sponsor deal, trying to find some new sponsors, and we were pretty lucky. We have a bunch of them this year, different varying degrees of sponsorship, but anything helps. And I know when it comes to like a tournament, when guys can go home, even if you send them home with a bag of bait, it's better than going home with nothing.
Exactly.
So,
it keeps them coming every week,
yep.
Or every tournament. It keeps them coming. We try to do the same thing, but I gotta say, man, the amount of sponsors you have posted up, I mean, you must be busting your ass.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's just taste. You don't get it if you don't ask. So I just reached out to a ton of people, and you get mixed results, but hey, it's all good.
Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job, man. I see it on Facebook.
I appreciate it, man.
Uh,
It's all, it makes it more enjoyable for everybody. So that's really what it's at. You make it more enjoyable, more people show up, the payouts are bigger, everybody wins.
right. Now, do you limit the amount of members, or is it unlimited and then first come first serve on tournament day?
Yeah, I haven't really run into it where I've got, a permit for 25 guys or whatever, and I got 26 guys trying to get in. We always seem to fall like one or two short of the permit number, last year anyways. So, I think we actually had more than 25. I did our permits for 25 last year. This year we're doing 30. And if we can average 25, great. Like I said, last year, I think we averaged 21. If we can average 25, 26 this year, great. But yeah, we'll cap it. First come, first serve, I guess, would be the way we would do it. Haven't had that issue. And really it's pretty much the same guys every week. We'll have a couple of alternates, I guess you could call them, that are friends of members that are like, all right, we're going to be a couple short. You got a buddy that wants to fish, all right, sure, bring him in, that type of deal. But
Right.
and actually, that was how actually Judy's son joined last year, or fished a couple as an alternate, and ended up winning the first one he fished, and everybody wanted to kill him.
Yeah, that's how it always works, man. The new guy always wins. It never
Yep.
fails.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. But yeah, send somebody home with something, have a good time, and that's really all it was. I was lucky enough to have a good group of guys and gals. We have, we had two girls who were fishing with us last year, and Judy being one of them. She won the first. She's sneaky good, man. I remember she was fishing out of her sun dolphin, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how she's gonna do, and then she'll come back with 3 5-pounders, and it's like, oh Jesus, all right.
Do you guys do 3 fish limit or a 5 fish limit?
So we did 3 last year. We're actually probably, I think in about 2 weeks, we're going to be having like a member meeting, like an off-season meeting, and kind of voting on some new stuff. The point system being one of them. Do we want to stay with the inch total as your points, or go to like a points-based system? We'll put that up for a vote, and then last year we kind of talked about do we do 4, do we do 5? Then if we do 5, do we make the tournaments a little bit longer? So we'll see. That's one of the few things that'll be up for a vote this year, kind of. So any of the members that were members last year, can throw in their vote, and we'll see where we end up.
All right. Now, what is your tournament time now? Like, what time do you start?
Generally, 6:30 to 1:30. So 7.
That's average. I mean, ours are 6 to 2. So.
Yeah. So you got an extra hour in there, basically. But yeah. I've kind of always stuck with the Sunday morning. Some people work Saturdays. Most people don't work Sundays, or at least
right.
That's what I found. And yeah, Sunday mornings, man, 6:30.
Yep. Here too, I do all Sundays. All Sundays.
Oh, I do? Yeah, I found a lot of people do Saturdays, but I've always liked
the other clubs around here all do Saturdays, so I was like, screw it, I'll do Sundays.
Well, plus it frees up guys to be able to fish both.
Yeah,
so.
Right. That's how I end up fishing 32 tournaments.
I still can't get over that number, man. If I fish 15 tournaments this year, I'll be happy.
Now, you mentioned earlier you plan on doing some of the KBF stuff. Do you care to share what ones you're looking into? Or?
I'll probably do the Mass one for sure. Well, so NHKF's hosting one of the partner trail events.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to be involved in that stuff, which technically it's not necessarily a KBF event,
right.
but it's like
a partner,
affiliate.
Partner.
It's a partner trail. So I'll fish some of that stuff, and then probably I'm going to try and get down to Lake George this year, I think.
That's an awesome place, man. Awesome place to fish.
Did you go last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple of guys from the club went, and they seem to enjoy it, man. So
yeah, it's a good place to fish. I didn't do as well as I had planned, but there's always next time.
Yeah, one of these years I'll get down there for the national championship. I just like to experience it, man. That many guys
right.
and that much the line. That's got to be fun.
Yeah. This is the first time I'm going. I've qualified 3 years in a row, and I've never gone. But this year, because it's Gunnersville, it's a bucket list for me to fish.
Yeah, same here, man. I've qualified the last 3 years, but I haven't gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to go. As soon as they said Gunnersville, I was like, yep, I'm going to that one. Um, I'm a,
I should have gone to the one in Tennessee or on Kentucky Lake there
yeah,
2 years ago, 2 or 3 years
yeah,
ago.
but those guys froze their asses off, man.
Oh yeah, once I saw what the conditions were, I'm like, man, I'm not quite as sad I didn't go. Maybe if we keep pumping up the Northeast, maybe we'll get something up a little closer this way, make
Yeah,
it easier.
it would be nice, get at least like a trail championship or something up this way.
Yeah, well, you got the Northeast Regionals in Maine this year,
Yeah,
right?
I can't wait for that. That's
Yeah,
I'm going back home.
yeah. Are you familiar with the lake?
Yeah, China Lake is definitely a good place for me to fish.
All
I'll
right,
leave
that's
it at
fair.
that.
Yeah. Don't give away too much.
Uh,
But yeah, I'll probably try and get to a few. It's always easy to say, and then something crazy
exactly,
happens.
exactly. I got kids myself and a wife, but she takes care of the home business while during the fishing months when I'm out on the road. Uh,
Oh, that's nice.
Occasionally they come along. 2 years ago,
Oh, really?
yeah, 2 years ago they went to the Susquehanna in Pennsylvania with me, and the kids are already once they saw the schedule and that Susquehanna was on the schedule again. The kids were already all over my wife. We're going
Oh, really?
back. We're going back. We're going back. So
That's
they'll
awesome. How,
probably
old-
go.
how old are your kids?
They range from 8 to 21.
Holy smokes, you got a 21-year-old.
Yeah, I have 5 kids. Yeah,
Yeah, good for you, man. I got one. She's 3. That's enough fun for me.
yeah. I have 4 boys and a girl, and the girl is the second youngest. And once she was born, I realized that was enough for me. And the last boy was an accident.
Hey, man, it's all good.
Yep, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Biggest life. That was the single biggest killer to my fishing time, but I wouldn't trade it.
How old is she now?
3.
3. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I used to go every Saturday, Sunday, one night during the week. 3, 4 times a week. Now
yeah,
I pretty much go Sundays.
yeah. A few more years, you'll be getting back into it, and she'll probably
Yeah,
be out there.
I got her out a couple times last year, man. That was a
Yeah, I
blast.
saw a picture on your Facebook with her on the front of the
Yeah,
kayak. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah. Right in that little front hatch. It worked out nice.
Yeah, my 8-year-old does
Loving
that
it.
with me. But
Yeah.
this year he's getting his own. He's the only one that fishes with me. That is the 8-year-old. The rest of
Oh, really?
yeah, the rest of them have all outgrown it, and
You got to get him into it, man.
yeah, this one I don't think this one's gonna outgrow it. I think he's hooked. He loves fishing. I even got him a FX custom rod. That's who I'm sponsored by, and he got his first one this weekend, so he was super excited.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. That's a fun age too.
Yeah. Now, what's some of your goals for the 2020 season?
Let's see. I'd like to average 25 members. That's a big one. Qualify. I'd like to qualify for the national championship and actually go. Uh, I'd like to hit the 7 pound mark. I haven't hit that yet. It's tough, man.
Yeah, in the
You
north,
know.
it's tough. It's tough. I've been fishing
Yeah,
since I
like
was a little kid, and I only have two that broke 10 pounds. And I mean, I've been fishing for 30 years.
no kidding. Yeah. It's the give and take. You have a lot of kayak fishing is taken off, right? And people are out there fishing, they're having fun, and everybody's doing it. But then again, everybody's doing it. So some of those spots, even 2 or 3 years ago, that were absolute gems that was abandoned. You go there now, I'll show up there at 5:30 in the morning thinking I'm slick, and there's already a guy out there that's halfway around the lake. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not the first guy here.
Exactly.
So it gets tougher to find those good spots, but then again, it challenges you to fish different stuff, and it's never as easy as you think. Like what was it, a couple of years ago? The Ned rig last year, 2 years ago before that. Rats and like the rat top waters were taken off. I remember, and something new will come out this year, and everybody will forget about everything else, and it's all good, man. It's
Yep.
fun.
You just got to learn how to catch them. They have to eat. Bass aren't going to stop eating, so you just got to
That's
learn how to
it.
catch them.
That's it, man. Yeah. Other than that, goals qualify. Club goals is the 25 anglers. I think it's doable. I don't see why it couldn't be, and I'm happy as long as everybody's happy. I'm not in this to make money, and there's no money to be made really, other than unless you do well in a tournament, and it's just good, man. It's fun. This is I like what you're doing too, getting everybody in the Northeast kind of involved together, and props to Jay and Ken for getting that partner trail going, and they I had talked with Jason a few times throughout the last couple of years about KBF, and hey man, I'm always like, hey man, if I can get more involved with KBF, let me know, blah blah blah. And he reached out this year, he's like, hey, you still interested in getting more involved? And I was all up for it. So it's hopefully gonna work out. Those guys, they know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a while, and they're big into the KBF. Believe me, every
Yeah.
time I have a KBF question, I'm calling Jay.
Yeah, that's how I got started. Both of them asking questions, and they're always there to help out.
Yeah, KBF's basically what you can call them what the gold standard.
Yeah, they
They
they started it all.
yeah, you're right.
Yep,
And the more involved with that whole scene you can be, the better off you'll end up being, I think.
exactly.
So
Now we got the Bass and the Hobie Pro and all that stuff, but KBF
yeah,
KBF started it all, and that's the grassroots of it. So I mean, we got to give the respect where it's due.
you got it. It's funny when you were talking about watching Chad on that show. I used to watch that show, and then it took me a while to put two and two together that he was the KBF guy. Like it just never even.
Right when that show came out, and when I started watching it, they never said anything about KBF. It was just
No,
kayak bass fishing. Nothing about the tournaments, nothing.
no.
And then I stumbled across it on Facebook about kayak tournaments, and I was like, holy shit. Because I used to fish bass boat tournaments, but I had sold my boat.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, I can get back into tournament fishing with a kayak. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing better.
No, there
There,
really isn't.
I would at this point. I mean, I guess it's easy to say because I have a kayak and not a bass boat, but something about being in that kayak in the morning, sun coming up, you're by yourself, it's quiet,
Yep,
and that is my mental health right there.
absolutely.
It doesn't. I'll take an early morning fishing anytime.
Absolutely. Yeah, kayak fishing has pretty much saved me. I mean, I've said it on this show before, and a lot of people know kind of my story, but I was quite the drinker. And I mean, I'll still have a few beers here and there with dinner or go out on a weekend, but I was bad, like drinking every day. And kayak fishing saved me. I mean, those monthly tournaments is really what saved me because I couldn't drink at night because I had to get my ass on the water to make sure I could win. So I say that kayak bass fishing definitely saved me.
Good night, bees. Good night, Chloe.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I heard what you were saying as I'm
Yeah.
watching my daughter around the corner. But yeah, you're right. That it's like that's my break.
Yep.
Like people, I can't tell you how many people will be like, I'll be like, hey, you want to go fishing? And they'll be like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's meet up at like 4:30, and they're like, what time?
Yep.
Like they're insane. You're like, I'm just going to bed. I'm like, oh man, no way.
Yeah, no. I got to get to bed. I got to get up in the morning and go fishing.
Yeah, there was a few times last year, especially the first couple tournaments. I didn't even sleep. I didn't sleep before the tournament. And actually, the Winnie tourney. So my buddy had a cabin up there, or his family had a place to stay. So I was going to stay there. I ended up going up there at like 11 o'clock at night the night before, right?
Yeah.
I get there, I'm unloading my truck, and I realize my pedal drive's at home, which is an hour and a half the other direction.
Oh.
So at 11:30 at night, I turned around after driving an hour and a half, drove back, grabbed my pedal drive, then turned around, drove back up there, slept in my car for an hour, and then was at the ramp. And that was an interesting
Yeah,
Basically about 6 hours of driving back and forth.
that's
All
tough.
my pedal drive at home.
That's
That was
tough. I've done some
yeah.
tournaments like that where I've left after work on a Friday night and drove to Long Island. I did 2 years ago. Long Island, New
Oof.
York. I drove from, it was like 3.5, 4 hours. Drove through the night, parked at the ramp, slept there.
Oof.
Messalonsky up in Maine 2 years ago. I did the same thing.
Oh,
Man,
really? Yeah.
yeah, just drive.
You know, as long as it's not the tournament you have to worry about. It's like, man, it's like, all right, tournament's over, and you're looking at it like, all right, I haven't slept in like 2 days. Let's
Right,
drive,
let's drive home.
drive home.
Yep.
Yep, let's do it.
After Messalonsky, I stopped at a rest area and I slept, took like a hour and a half power nap, and then finished the drive home. 'Cause
How long to drive for you?
that's 4 hours from Messalonsky to me.
All right. Yeah. So how long for like to the New Hampshire border for you?
Oh, it's not far, like an hour and a half.
Well, that's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad at
Yeah.
all.
Hey, well, if you want to make it 36 tournaments, let me know.
Yeah, I'll look at the schedule. I'll see what I can
Yeah.
do.
We
Joe,
try and work it. I know I picked dates so we didn't conflict with any of the KBF stuff.
right.
So other
Joe
than
actually came down here last year for a tournament.
who did?
Joe
Oh,
Dideo, he came down here
yeah.
last year for a tournament. One of the Rhode
Oh,
Island
yeah.
clubs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few guys in my club that travel. It's as long as hey, if you can get out and support, other clubs, by all means, man.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. We got to
It's
support
only
each other.
helping the sport, bro.
You got to support each other.
Support support the sport itself,
Yep,
and bigger and better things are always coming. You know, it's just look at the equipment, even the kayaks.
absolutely.
How far kayaks have come in, I don't know, 5 years.
Yep. And
It's
everybody's
insane.
always designing something new, something
Yep,
better, a new accessory. Um,
you got it.
it's it's
I need,
create. It not only is it creating a great sport, it's creating jobs for people. It's creating small businesses. I mean,
yeah,
look at like never lost leashes. I mean, it's a basic concept. It's a stretchy paracord thing that
heck
it
yeah, man.
keeps your stuff safe. I mean, they're making a business out of it.
But it's ingenious at the same time.
Right.
Like
The
I've
catch
seen a few guys.
measuring board. I mean, there's no way that Duke was like, "Oh, I'm going to be a measuring board maker when I grow up." He just has
Yeah,
access to machinery and can make it and was like, "Bam, now I just created something that everybody needs."
that's it, man. I actually just got a catch board over the winter. I'm anxious to use it.
Oh, they're great, man. Great. No worrying about it snapping during a tournament. I have broke 3 hog troughs in my first 2 years kayak fishing.
Really?
Yeah, 3 in 2 years. And then I saw the catch board, and I immediately, once they were out, I was like, I have to have that because
Yeah.
I'm
It's
brutal
it,
on stuff.
it just feels like quality,
Yeah, you can't break it. I've dropped it out of my kayak, like onto the pavement at the boat ramp.
Yep.
It
I definitely need to get a leash for it though.
you have to have a leash, or else
Yeah.
if you drop it in, you'll never ever see it again.
Yeah. I mean, although, is he making a floating board now?
Yeah, he's got the new one that's coming out. I want to say the last I saw was like June. It's gonna come out. It's a plastic or composite, whatever. I don't know exactly the
Yep.
material. I
Yep.
think it's designed more for ice fishermen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's what it's designed, and we'll see if it's KBF approved or not. I mean, I don't know. KBF likes to keep it simple and not have too many options.
Yeah, but that's smart,
Yeah, you don't want people modifying their boards. If it's that's the
No,
thing about the catch board. You're not going to modify that. You're not going to
nope,
cut that and trim it and glue it back
nope,
together. That's just not going to happen.
no. You're right. No, it's totally true. But like you said, all those little small business guys, that's all a lot of that's all geared just to kayak guys,
Exactly.
basically.
Exactly.
So
It's helping
support the
people out.
support the sport.
Uh, question that I ask everybody that comes on the show, and it's the last question. Top 5 anglers of all time. It can be anybody. Doesn't have to be a professional.
Oh, geez. Ah, wow, that's a good one. I mean, I guess you got to go KVD, right?
Yeah.
He's got to be in there. Crank. I'm trying to think of different techniques. You know, Aaron Martins would be the drop shot guy, I guess. Let's see here. I don't even know, man. I'm not drawing a blank here. Let's see. You know, what I'm a big fan of is Jacob Wheeler.
Yeah. He crushed it last week. Oh
Yeah,
my
he did.
word, man.
Yeah, he did. Yep. Let's see. Man, yeah, I don't know. We'll go top three. How's that?
All right, we'll take the top 3. I'll make an exception.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Chris,
Appreciate it.
I want to thank you for coming on. I'm going to give you an opportunity to thank anybody that you want to thank before we get you off of here.
Man, I appreciate you having me on, man. When you reached out, I was like, heck yeah, man. And then I kind of looked into more of what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing and getting everybody together and giving a voice to people. And really, a thank you to all my members. You know, they're the ones that made it a successful year last year for NHKF, and you know, KBF again. They're doing they're setting the standard and the gold standard, I would say. And thanks to all those guys that put in all the hard work, and I'm looking forward to an amazing 2020.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're
Yeah,
doing with your club. I mean, you definitely seem like you're a selfless person. Your club comes first. So thank you for that. We need more
you got it.
guys like that in the sport. Have a great night, man, and I hope your family has a great year along with you.
Yeah, you too, man. Take care. Thank you.
All right, guys. That is that for that episode. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse today. My daughter gave me her cold, I think. But thanks for tuning in. Northeast Kayak Fishing TV, Top Dogs. That was Chris Smigz, Angler of the Year for New Hampshire kayak fishing. Seems like a great guy. Definitely going to see him throughout the season. Thanks for joining in, everybody that was here. Again, I said it at the beginning of the show. I appreciate everybody who's been sharing the videos, but people are complaining about sharing it to their groups. So please don't share it to groups. I don't know why they're all butthurt, but I thought we were all here to support each other. Apparently, you're only supposed to support who's in your group, I guess. I don't understand it. But share it on your timelines or whatever, your own Facebook, or if you know a group or run a group that will accept it, go right ahead and share it there. But just don't share it all around to everyone, because apparently people are getting butthurt and I'm getting spam notices. So thanks for watching. Tight lines, good times. See you next time.